Story time of how I lost all of my friends sophomore year of high school. I'm a freshman in college now, so this was like a while back. So this story takes place in like the end of sophomore year, like it was summertime pretty much. I think it was like May or April. So one of my friends was dating this guy who was also friends with like another guy, and I had just found out about him and I thought he was really cute. So I followed him on Instagram and I added his Snapchat. I was like, I'm gonna make this happen. He added me back, followed me back, you know, we started talking a little bit and he decides that he wants to take me on a date. I was like, okay, bet, period, like, see it, I like it, I want it, I got it, okay, bet. So there was this girl who like sat at my lunch table sometimes during sophomore year. I wasn't really friends with her, like we were not close, we didn't have each other on social media, we didn't talk. Like, the only thing I knew about her was her first and last name, basically. That's basically all I knew. And apparently she had talked to this guy previously. So I asked our, like, mutual friend, like, the only person we had in common, about the situation. I was like, are they still talking? Like, what's going on? Because I didn't want to do that. Literally, the irony is, like, I didn't want to be, like, a cheater or, like, part of that. You know what I mean? So I asked the girl, I was like, are they still talking? Like, what's going on? And she was like, no, they cut things off a while ago. Like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, bet, green light, let's go. So he ends up taking me to the fair. Like, there was this fair going on during the summertime. It was a really, like, sketchy part of town. But we went, and it was great, and we had a great time. It was wonderful. He ends up taking me on another date to, like, this, it was, like, a wedding venue thing, a barn thing, and he, like, made me dinner there. Oh, it was wonderful. Very sentimental guy. So I end up going out of town to visit my grandparents one week, and my best friend texts me. She calls me at dinner. I step away from my family, I answer the call. She's like, why is everyone mad at you right now? And I was like, what? I had just started getting close with these people. It was a group of like 6 or 7 girls that I was just like really close with at the time, you know? I had just met them that year, basically. But they didn't like me enough to put me in the like main group chat. So I was in like the side one where they would like plan times to hang out, but like the core 6, that was like a group chat I was not in. So my friend's calling me and she's like, yeah, in the group chat, they're talking about you. And I'm like, well, what are they saying? Basically, the girl that sat at my lunch table who used to talk to the guy that I am now going on dates with, we're not dating, we're going on dates, she found out about it. She's really mad at me because we are really close friends and she can't believe I would do that to her. Again, like, I cannot stress enough how much I did not know this girl. Like, I met this guy before I knew that they had seen each other. Like, I did not have any intention to go behind her back, whatever. So basically, the whole group chat's blowing up about me, talking about how I'm a homewrecker, and nobody has liked me, like, from the beginning. Like, they've all had a bad feeling about me. I went on a trip with some of the girls in the group, and they were like, yeah, on that trip, I could just tell she's just so male-centered, like, she just likes men a lot, like, she would stab anybody in the back to get a guy. These things are not true, okay? I was very weird sophomore year. Like, I was strange, but none of these things were true. They were basically, like, slut-shaming me, like, as a 15-year-old, you know, whatever. So the only person that's on my side is my best friend, and she's asking me to tell, like, my side of the story, obviously, because from the way that they're putting it, it sounds like I'm a bad person. I explained that I asked about their relationship, I asked if it was still going on, and everybody in that group chat told me, no, it's not going on anymore, you're good, you have the green light, like, she's not gonna care, like, you don't even know each other, it's okay. But now that the girl has found out, they've decided to take her side and say that I'm getting in the way of their relationship. So basically what had went down was they did have a thing, and then she ended up ghosting him. She went on one date with him, they went to the mall or something. She ended up ghosting him. I guess the date didn't go how she wanted it to, whatever. But while we were on our fair date, she texted him. After 3 weeks of not texting, she texts him and she's like, hey, do you want to hang out today? Super out of the blue, after not texting him, snapping him, whatever, in 3 weeks, she decides to bring back that narrative of like, oh, I'm the victim, Emma is my name's Emma, by the way. Emma is trying to take my man. Again, I do not know her. I barely know her. I, like, see her, and that's about it. Okay, this is getting too long. Go to part 2. Part 2 of how I lost all my friends sophomore year. So basically, everyone's mad at me. Everyone's calling me a homewrecker. Me at 15 years old, I am now a homewrecker, which is just lovely. I'm sobbing, breaking down, crying. I'm like, I never wanted this to happen. I literally took the precautions. Like, I asked about them. I did this. I did so many things just because I didn't want that narrative. I know how mean people can be in a situation like that, and I didn't want to be the cause of that. I knew that's literally what I came into this knowing. So months go by. I'm not hanging out with these people. I'm not going to do it. If they don't want me around, I'm not going to be around. If they want to be fake, I'm not going to let them be fake. I'm just going to continue on with my life, you know? I go on a trip with my other friend who's not associated with this group, and my mom starts getting Ring doorbell notifications. She's really confused because it seems like we're getting something delivered and we didn't order anything. So we're like, what do you mean we're getting stuff delivered? The mail truck has been stopped at our house for 30 minutes. So basically, the girl that sat at my lunch table that is mad at me because I'm talking to the guy she talked to weeks ago, she has now sent me 500 packaging boxes. I don't know if you guys are going to understand what I'm saying, but you can send packaging boxes to someone for free. So she sent me 500. My mom's pissed at me. She's like, why are you ordering packaging boxes? I'm confused. I don't know that it's this girl yet. I don't know. I didn't know it was her. I should have known, but I didn't. So I'm asking all my friends. I'm like, hey, does anybody know what's going on? Like, is it this girl? Like, what is it? And they're like, we'll ask her. We don't know, but we'll ask her. So then she reaches out to me and she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, that was not me. Like, I didn't send you anything. Like, I would have never done that. You know, like, it's just over a stupid boy. And I'm like, this I shouldn't have done, but I did. I lied to her and I said, hey, I just want to let you know your email was left on the boxes, so I know it was you. Her facade dropped instantly. She was like, well, maybe you should think about that next time you try to go for a man that's taken. Maybe you should have thought about that before being a fucking bitch. Like, going off on me, like, okay, I did not take your man. You ghosted him. So anyway, she doesn't ever admit that it was her, but like, we all know it was her. I ended up blocking her, whatever. A few months later, my best friend, who's still friends with these people that like put me in the group chat or whatever, she's like, we're gonna talk it out. You know, like when you're added to those group chats and it's like getting the story straight, you know, it was like that. But it was in person. I literally told my mom, I was like, if I don't come back in the next hour, like, they have killed me. So I'm put in a car with my best friend, this other girl, and I think someone else. I don't really remember. But they end up telling me the whole truth. They're like, yes, she did send those, like, the boxes to your house. And I was like, how did she get my address? Basically, there was a side group chat with the girl from the lunch table and 3 other girls that were in my friend group in the big group chat. They had made a side one. And this group chat consisted of plans to, like, wreck my life up, you know? They were gonna do, like, instant mashed potatoes in my yard. She was gonna drive through my grass in her, like, van. I don't even know what kind of car she had. It was just something like that. Just trying to make my life miserable. So again, I was like, how did she get my address? And they explained that in the group chat, like, some of those girls had been to my house, so they had my address, and they had given her my address to do these things to me. And the worst part is, I didn't even last long with the guy. Like, he broke things off with me after, like, a month, because he had to go, like, play basketball in, like, Nevada or something. But, like, I don't know. It was a whole thing, and I never want to be in sophomore. Like, I'm so glad that I am out of that year. I'm so glad that I'm older than that and people have matured slightly, because I will never have to deal with something like that ever again. She actually reached out to me like a year or 2 ago and apologized for it. I still haven't fully forgiven her, but because of, like, I lost all my friends because of her lying about it, you know? So whatever. But yeah, that's how I lost all my friends, and they all betrayed me sophomore year.
Alright, so my cousin did something so messed up that I didn't know how to react to it at this time. Well, I knew how to react. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I kind of came out of character a little bit, and I got mad and, like, was ready to, like, but let me finish. Don't judge me. We don't judge. We listen, we don't judge. So here's what happened. Story time. December 2024. At the time, me and my husband were laying in bed watching a movie, and he receives this phone call from a random number. He doesn't answer. I'm thinking, like, that's suspicious. Boy, you better answer that phone. But he didn't answer the phone, so I was like, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna go there with you. So then the number calls again. I'm like, boy, if you don't pick up that phone, I'm gonna punch you. Anyways, so I wasn't really gonna punch him. So anyways, he answers the phone. My daughter was right there. My daughter was like, let me talk. I want to say something. And we thought, okay, maybe it's like a spam, like one of those scam calls or whatever. So my daughter was gonna mess with them. Well, she kind of did. She answered and said something. I don't remember what she said. She was trying to be silly. The person that called didn't say anything. They hung up. After they hung up, they sent a text message. This text message said something about, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were with your kids and your wife. Then sends another text message and said, it's so-and-so, sends a picture of herself, which was actually his ex-girlfriend that this girl was trying to pretend to be. So of course I'm over here thinking for a second that it was her. But then he's like, she don't spell her name like this. It's not her. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. Maybe it's not her. So then we these text messages keep coming in. She's saying these mean, hurtful things about me. And I'm like, well, who the heck is saying these things about me? Like, that's really messed up. Like, really messed up. At the time, they were talking about my weight, that I was fat, that I don't even want to go into detail of all these things that she was saying because it's really fucked up. I mean, messed up. And so she's saying all these things about me, and I'm like, whoa, who can this be? Because it's not really towards him, it's towards me. There's somebody's hating on me, somebody hates me, something against me, right? These text messages go on, right? And he's texting back and forth with this person, and he's thinking it's like a coworker, and I'm like, well, why would your coworker talk about me like that? Whatever, right? So then we start going down and thinking of who it could be. And then he goes and says, it sounds like your cousin, and says her name. And I said, oh, hell no. I got mad. Don't you ever, and I'm mad. Don't you ever say it's my family. They would never do some like this to me. Okay? And he's like, well, I don't know, but it sounds like her. And I'm like, bro, it wouldn't be her. I defended her. I was pissed. I was like, no, boy, like, I'm about to punch your ass right now. Like, don't you, like, I'm still mad about that. Don't you ever. So anyways, long story short, we end up finding out that it was her because she did it to her own brother and her own sister. So then I call her and I confront her. Are you gonna own up that this was you, that you were the one that did this, you were behind all that? Or are you gonna own up to it? She hangs up on me. I'm like, what the fuck? She really just hung up on me. To me, I'm like, you're guilty, because if I would have done that, if I was innocent and I didn't do that, I would have been like, what the are you talking about? You are blaming me for something. I said, oh, hell no, this bitch is fucking a liar. She's guilty as fuck. It was her. Then I'm mad and I'm like, you know what? When I see this girl, I'm gonna beat her. I'm gonna freaking beat her until she's black and blue. I'm just kidding. No, I didn't say all that or think all that, but I was really thinking I'm gonna fucking beat her ass when I see her, because this is really fucked up that she did that, right? So then I texted her off of a fake number like she would do to me, and I started texting her. I said, when I see you, I'm gonna beat. I shouldn't have done this, right? But I'm mad. I'm hurt because I'm like, I had this girl in my house days prior, not even days prior, just all the time. I had this girl in my house and you're hating on me. So anyways, I would do this girl's nails. I would always reach out to her like, hey, because I hated to be alone. I still hate to be alone, but I would message her and I'd be like, hey, Do you want to go get something to eat? Do you want to do this? Do you want to come over? Like, you know, I would always invite her. And there were times that she would be like, yeah, or there were times when she'll be like, oh, I'm busy. Okay, whatever. But to think that this girl was in my house and she's doing this to me is crazy. To think that I would feed her, buy her food. When I would cook at my house, she would eat my food, just sitting there on the counter, just eating them, like, just eating so comfortably. Like, how can you do that to somebody, your family, and someone who's very loving as me? I'm always like taking care of everyone, and you're gonna do that to me? So then anyways, I text her off this texting app, and I'm texting her and I'm like, when I see you, I'm gonna beat your freaking ass. And she still denies that it wasn't her. And she was like, oh, well, you can come, you don't know who you're messing with, you can come to my house and I'll gladly go outside and beat your ass. And I'm like, girl, gladly? I don't need you to come outside. I'm gonna go inside your mom's house and I'm gonna beat your ass inside your mom's house. And I even texted her mom and I told her mom what was gonna happen, what was gonna go down, because I'm not playing. So anyways, we start texting each other. She's just being so disrespectful, and then she's saying I'm disrespectful. I'm hurt. I'm not disrespectful. I'm hurt that my own cousin, somebody I thought was very close to me, doing this shit to me. And so anyways, we're going at it in the text messages. Then she goes and says something about me wanting to be a TikToker. I had a page of cooking because I would do cooking. I was doing cooking videos, and a nail page where I was doing nails. And she said I was a wannabe TikToker. She said, why don't you go find a real job? And she's talking crap to me. And I'm like, go find a real job? She apparently at the time, I don't know what she's up to now. She probably still does the same but she would sell her ass apparently. And she told me that I need to go find a real job and stop trying to be a TikToker, wannabe TikToker. And then she goes and says that I should go on the corner and do that because they would pay me $25. Girl. So my whole point of this, long story short, I said I was just gonna learn to forgive her for me. You know, I did say I was gonna beat her ass when I see her the next time I saw her. Unfortunately, the next time that I saw her after all this went down was when my grandpa passed away. Obviously, I'm not gonna beat her ass while we're grieving over my grandpa. Like, that would be some crazy shit. And obviously, not worth it. And so I'm like, okay. I did tell my grandpa, though, before he passed away, I would tell him, like, when I see her, I'm gonna beat her ass. Because he knew the shit she did, and he literally laughed at it when I told him that I was gonna do that. And he just laughed. He's all, you know, she's crazy. I was like, so is that a yes? You know, like, did I get his permission? But he never really said yes or no, so I couldn't do anything. Obviously, for peace, I'm not gonna do anything to her. Again, it was really hurtful, but all I know is I'm gonna forgive her for myself. I'm not gonna reach out and tell her, hey, I forgive you, because forget all that. I don't need to do all that. But I just will say I will never have a relationship with her ever again. I really don't like hearing about her, but if I learn to forgive her through, like, for myself, I will hopefully not hate hearing about her as much. Yeah. And that's pretty much it.
I don't talk about my divorce very often, particularly on the internet. One, because it's not really anybody's business, and two, because I have young children. And I do wish to preserve a good relationship. And I don't wish to embarrass them on the internet like that. But I want to tell this story. I urge you, if you have any backlash about this story, I urge you to really just listen to the words. Because it's not me being critical. I'm just going to tell you factual information. If you feel one way or the other about this story, I want you to ask yourself why before you attack me on the internet. So, shortly after my ex-husband and I separated. My kids are with their dad. It's a Saturday. I am with my mom downtown at a Whole Foods together. My kids are with their dad. I get a text message from my ex-husband that says, hey, if I text you a grocery list and Venmo you, can you send me an Instacart? And I respond with a question mark, looking for clarification here. And he responds with, the boys are in their pajamas and I promised them spaghetti tonight for dinner, but I don't have the things for spaghetti. And so instead of getting the boys dressed and getting their shoes on and going to the store, can you just order Instacart and have it delivered to my apartment? It's easier. Those were his words. It's easier. So you want me to take your entire list of groceries and go onto my Instacart account and look up every single thing and add it to the cart, check out, then communicate with your Instacart driver about substitutions, about things that they're out of, and then you want me to follow that delivery all the way till it's delivered to your house. You want me to tip the Instacart driver, tell you how much it is, you're gonna Venmo me, then I have to transfer that money from my Venmo to my bank account to pay my credit card that's attached to the Instacart. So I respond with, why don't you just download Instacart? And he says, you already have Instacart. I do, but we don't live together and we don't share money anymore. So when you say it's easier, what you mean is rather than you being slightly inconvenienced by having to take your children to the grocery store or to make something else for dinner that you do have if you don't feel like going to the grocery store, you think it's easier for me to do all of that. And you think it's an appropriate thing to ask me when we don't live together. And in his mind, he gave me a list and he was going to Venmo me. So he figured out what he needed or what he wanted and he paid for it. And that's all that's involved in that. All the stuff that I'm going to do, all the hard stuff really, he doesn't consider work or labor, or he wouldn't have asked me to do it. He doesn't consider it work or labor to find all of his groceries, to add them, ask him what brands he needs, ask him what size he needs, probably remind him of things, you know, it looks like you're making guacamole, but you didn't add avocados, like communicate with it. Everything about the value that I may or may not have added to that man's life started to make sense. I think to both of us. Thank you guys so much. This comment made me laugh because I really, when I posted that, I was prepared. That's why I was like, before you say anything, I was prepared for everybody to say like, I would have just sent my kids something for spaghetti, or I would have tried to help because my kids are important. And I was really pleasantly surprised that so many of you were on my side that felt the same way that I did. I do want to tell you another little story. Again, I'm not trying to be petty, and I am not excusing. The thing about it is he's not, it's not malicious. It's genuine. Like that's his thing to work out in therapy. And I pointed it out, but I'm not his mother and I'm not responsible for his healing. And I'm pretty removed from it. And I feel like I'm pretty emotionally intelligent. And so it's not that I forgive the things that he does, but I'm just like, it's like the way he is. All I can do is like point it out and keep saying no. And like, what, I'm not even mad about it. Right. I'm just not, it just, you know, but I do want to tell you this story that just happened like at Christmas time. So this was our second Christmas as like, you know, Splitsville. And so I really felt like it was important. We're 2 years in. we should start doing separate like Christmases, right? Like you should have your Christmas with your gifts and your traditions, and you should have a whole day, and I should have my Christmas with my traditions and my gifts, and I should have a whole day, and we don't need to do this big together family Christmas. I don't really want people's opinions on that. I'm the kid of divorced people, and that's just what I feel like that's the best thing, right? So I wasn't really going to share what the boys' Christmas lists were or do any of that emotional labor. I'm like, if he wants to know what our kids want for Christmas, he can ask him, right? I was just worried about my Christmas. I wasn't calling him to check to make sure he had stockings or checking to make sure he had cookies for Santa. I was just letting him do his thing, right? I just know the day they'll be here and the day they'll be there, and whatever happens is whatever. Okay, so fast forward to, I have a gift wrap party with some of my friends. We get together, we're drinking wine, we're wrapping presents, right? And so I have a stack of presents in my passenger seat that I have just wrapped that I haven't taken in the house yet, right? And he sends me a text message and he's like, hey, I don't have my oldest son's shoes for gym class. He's only got Crocs and he can't wear Crocs to gym, and it's happened before, whatever, that's a whole thing, but I'm not going to leave my kid without gym shoes. It's his dad's fault. He didn't grab them, or my kid, it doesn't matter. I want to get my kid his gym shoes, right? And so I text my ex-husband back, and I'm like, hey, I'm in my pajamas and my slippers, so I can bring these shoes over to you, but you got to come outside and get them through the window because I'm not getting out of my car, right? And he's like, cool, no problem. So I drive over there and he's in the window and we're chit-chatting, right? And he sees the big stack of presents like in the passenger seat, and he looks over at him. He's like, hey, I got gifts you can wrap. And I was like, I mean, again, we're not spending Christmas together. We're not doing joint Christmas. We're not buying the kids Christmas gifts together. Like, his presents are his presents. Like, why would you think I would take presents from your house, take them to my house, wrap gifts with my tape and my bows and my stuff, and then like bring them back to you so you can like put them under your trees so they can sit pretty? And like, why would you even think that that would be a thing? And I kind of looked at him and I was like, or you can wrap them. And I don't think in 16 years of marriage, he ever wrapped a present for any kind of thing. I was always the wrapper. So I was like, or you can wrap your, I'm so sorry guys. I was like, or you can wrap your presents. And he goes like, so matter of factly, I don't have wrapping paper. And I looked at him and I like slow blinked and I was like, where do you think you can get wrapping paper? And he goes, I don't know, probably like the Dollar General or something. And he kind of like laughed and I was like, yep, you can get wrapping paper at the Dollar General. Bye. And so, guys, I gotta let it. If he doesn't know by now, he's never gonna know, right? I don't know.
Hi guys, get ready with me while I tell you how my Victoria's Secret bra made me lose one of my childhood friendships. I invited a bunch of my friends over for my 16th birthday party celebration, and I told everyone to come in dresses and like formal suits. So the birthday party goes on, and as a host, you know, you're taking care of everyone and you're not having fun at your own party, even though it was my birthday, but I'm way too stressed taking care of everyone, making sure everyone else is having fun, everyone's fed, and all of that stuff. So my friend, let's call her Sarah. So Sarah comes up to me in the middle of the party and she tells me that she's like really uncomfortable in her dress, even though she wore like the most simple dress. It was really like a black like Skims Hoko type dress, if you know what I'm talking about. And she asked me if she can change. I'm low-key confused because like everyone's in dresses, so it would be weird if she changed because then she would be like the odd one out. But I'm like, whatever. I had way more important things to deal with because someone decided to leak my address, which is a whole different other story. So I'm like too busy like supervising everyone and making sure like everything's fine because a bunch of random people just started coming inside my house and I was way too stressed. So I tell her that she can go up to my closet because there was no way I was just about to leave my own party to go find this girl like clothes to change into. And I didn't think anything of it. So she goes upstairs and then she comes back down. And she comes down in the most expensive thing that she can find in my closet, which is my Lululemon. So I'm already like, what the hell? Who like goes into someone else's closet and chooses the most expensive thing. Like, I personally would choose something like basic, like a t-shirt or something if I was uncomfy, but she decides to wear my Lululemon and sweats while everyone else is dressed up in like Hogo dresses and formal. But I literally don't have time to care because I'm actually like running around my house. So whatever, the party ends and she lives like pretty close to me, so I'm like, you know, like just give my stuff back whenever. Even though she low-key could have changed into her dress because she lives really close and she could have just given me back my clothes back then, but I was like, whatever. Because low-key I was getting cooked by my dad at the same time because the cops did show up because someone leaked my address. This is kind of weird to say, but whatever. Like, this bra was like one of my favorites because it was like had like lace and it was like Victoria's Secret, so it low-key was a band. It was expensive, it was nice. So the next day, like, I go looking for this bra because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wear it. And I remember exactly where I placed it because I never move it. Like, it's literally just in this like box and it's not there. So I'm like, okay, it's probably in the wash. Like, I misplaced it, like, you know, nothing deep. So one day at school, I'm just scrolling on my phone on Instagram and I see, so the colors of my bra were green and blue. I know it's like kind of weird. And I see this girl's post, Sarah's post, and I see the strap and it's like green and blue, and usually like a lot of people don't have bras like that color, you know. So I'm like, wait, this is sus. So then I scroll back and I look at it and it's literally my bra. She didn't even try to hide it or anything. Like, I don't know why she would post that when I literally follow her. Did she think I was not gonna find out? At first I tried to come up with excuses like, oh, maybe she forgot, and like, yeah, it is a really nice bra, but like still, it was like maybe she like thought it was hers or like something. I don't know. So I text her and I'm like, hey girly, like this bra looks really familiar, mine just went missing and I know you borrowed my clothes the other day, so do you mind if you can just like send me a picture real quick? Because also this bra was like limited edition, like no one really had it, like it's, you know, so there's no way that she would have the same one. And plus she just borrowed my clothes and of course my bra like goes missing, so like there's literally no explanation. And she's like, hey, so this is my friend, like I borrowed it, and she comes up with a BS excuse and she's like, my friend was going to a concert later and I was wearing a strapless, so we just switched bras or whatever. And I was like, okay, like can you just send me a picture of the like the size, like the tag, because I know if it's mine or not. And later in the day she like barely responds and I like keep bugging her about it because I know it's mine, like I need it back because it was my favorite. And finally, after I bug her for so long, she sends me a picture. This picture is literally, she flipped the bra inside out because I could see the lace at the top like poking out because the whole front is all lacy and it's like poking out, and she sends me the picture with red LED lights on, so I couldn't see the color of the bra because no one has a bra that's like green, neon green and blue. And I'm like, hell nah, bro, this girl thinks I'm stupid or something. But yeah, I'm like really understanding because I don't want to be mean about it, like, you know. So I say like, hey, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but like I know for a fact it's mine and I would really appreciate if you could just give it back to me because like it was really expensive, and if you give it back to me I'll like completely forget that this ever happened. Like, I'm really nice. And her response will literally shock you. She's like, I don't know why you would ever excuse me of something like that. Like, I would never do that. That's so weird. We're literally went to preschool together. I was like, girl, bye. That's what makes it 10 times weirder. I was so nice. I literally was like, I'll forget this if you just give it back to me. I just want it back. Like, I don't care. And of course, she never responds after I proceed to spam her. And a few days later, on her Instagram, there's like a clear picture that she was wearing mine. And I guess this girl literally did not care that I literally follow her and I could see it. So I got so rage baited that I ended up unfollowing her because I literally could not see her posting in my bra like every day. So now we're not friends anymore because who does that? Who does that? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. This is a long video, but I wanted to try something different. And let me know if you guys like these insane story times because I have so many other ones. I also wanted to add that our moms were literally pregnant with both of us together at the same time and like almost had us together. Like,
hi guys, my name's Melanie and I didn't talk for 16 years of my life. So ironically, let's talk about it. I'm always scared to talk about this on the internet, not because I care what people think, but because the thing I have, selective mutism, is not very researched. There's not a ton of information on it, and so I'm scared if I'm one of the only people talking about it that I'm not going to represent it right or say what needs to be said. But I've really been thinking recently, and if I was like a young preteen girl or me as a young teenage girl and there had been someone on the internet talking about it and talking about their experience, then I would have thought it was so cool. So I'm like, maybe I can just put my voice out there, and this isn't really going to be exactly what selective mutism is, but more my experience, because I don't know everything. Like, no one really knows everything about selective mutism, but I just kind of want to talk about my experience with it, and hopefully it helps someone. So to better understand what selective mutism, and at least from my point of view, because I know it's different for everyone, when I was a baby, I did not cry. My parents could bring me to any movie, any grocery store, and I would not make a single noise. So I've had this since I was a very young age. I remember that throughout middle school and high school, I would sit at the lunch table with a group of girls and I wouldn't say a single word. Everyone would be talking and I could go months without saying a single word at the lunch table. And I remember one time in 8th grade, I had to go give a presentation in front of the class, and I got up there and threw up. I also remember just taking rule in class, and all you had to say is here, but I'd start overthinking it so hard that I would get so scared that I was going to say the word heron that I would start crying and not even be able to say that I was in class and get marked absent. Now I do have so many more examples because this was an everyday thing for 16 years of my life, but I kind of wanted to get into the weird things about selective mutism. So at school, stuff, I wouldn't be able to talk at all, but at home I'd be completely normal. I could talk to my parents, like talk to my siblings, I just act like a normal kid. And so my parents never really realized there's anything wrong, and sometimes they'd go to parent-teacher conferences and stuff and they'd just be like, she's so quiet, this is not normal. And my parents like, she's just shy, she'll grow out of it. And it got to a point where I was like, I am not going to grow out of this. And I think too, I had a brother who was on the spectrum and love him to death, like still do, but a lot of the attention went on him, which of course I respect my parents for that. He did need extra help, but because of that, my struggle with not being able to talk, my parents didn't really notice it, and it kind of like got swept under the rug, I guess you could say. There are 3 main times when I can really think when people started to realize that this was not normal. The very first one was when I was in 2nd grade. My teacher talked to my parents and like, this is not normal at all. Like, the way she's acting is not how shy kids act. Like, she literally cannot talk. She like starts shaking and crying, like if any attention is on here. I've never heard her say a word. Like, this is not normal. And my parents were kind of just like, oh, like I'm sure she'll grow out of it. But the next time was when I was in 6th grade. I did a little Christmas party with my friends, and I think my parents kind of saw firsthand I was not talking at all. I didn't say anything. They talk and I just kind of sit there. And I think that's the first time that my parents kind of noticed, like, whoa, this isn't normal. But I remember they came in my room afterward and like, hey, like, that was not normal behavior. Like, what is going on? And they were like, you might need help. But like, then just time passed and nothing really came from it, and I think they kind of forgot. The next time was 9th grade, was the first time I heard about social anxiety, and someone had been telling me about it, and I was like, I think I might have this, like, because I'm scared to talk in situations. So I went home and I remember I told my parents, and therapy wasn't really something we talked about at home. Like, you didn't really say if you need extra help and stuff. So I remember I went up to my mom and I just started bawling, and I was like, Mom, I need therapy, I need help, like, I cannot talk at all and this isn't normal. And she kind of, no disrespect to my mom, but it kind of did get brushed under the rug, and it wasn't until later that I really started getting into therapy. But when it first got brought up, nothing came from it. So I don't know if I've really touched on this yet, but for me what selective mutism felt like was that someone was like trying to choke me every time I talked. So it always felt like I was trapped inside my own body. It felt like there was a girl in there with this personality that wanted to talk to people, that was social and extroverted and wanted to like make all these friends and do all these things. But it felt like I was physically being attacked every time I wanted to talk or do something, and it just felt like there was someone inside of me that just couldn't get out. And I know this also sounds weird, but it kind of feels like the selective mutism like kind of would prevent me from even talking about it. Like maybe it was just shame, but every time I wanted to mention like I can't talk or this isn't normal, it's like I couldn't. Like it would attack me even more. Like even in front of my parents, if I tried to mention the non-talking thing or the shame thing, it's like I couldn't even mention it in front of them. The selective mutism would like hold my voice in that situation too. Now this next part of the story, I know how it's going to sound, and if I was in my height of selective mutism and someone said this, I think I would have gone crazy. I would have been so mad. But the only reason that I credit that I'm able to have conversations now, to even be talking to the camera right now, is because of a higher power. And I've never shared this story before, and I don't really want to share it in detail now. But when I was 16, I did not think there was anyone there. I kind of felt like I was alone on this earth, this big planet, and it's just me. I was so alone. And I think at that point, you do turn towards God. And I just told him everything. And in this prayer, I said, if there's any hope for me to be able to talk in my life, I want to go to this thing I'm going to, and I want to be able to say hi to one person. And so I went to the thing, and I went up to a person, and I was able, and they said hi to me first, and then I said hi back. That's so silly and so simple, but I've never been able to say hi back to someone in my 16 years of life, which is crazy. And so at that point, I'm like, okay, maybe there's hope for me. So it didn't go away then, obviously, but it was the first time that I started seeing improvement in my life. It's like I had been pretty much stagnant for 16 years, and all of a sudden, I kind of was not being physically attacked by my body, which I do credit that to a higher power, but I was able to start talking to people and learning social things I'd never been able to learn before. In my junior year, I met one of my best friends, and sadly I don't talk to her anymore, but I'm so grateful for the relationship we had, and it helped me grow so much and like kind of be able to talk more and more. And even now, 18 years old, I'm not perfect, and I shut down a lot. I kind of struggle in situations. I struggle talking. I'm still known as like the quiet girl, but I never thought I'd be able to get to this point in my life. I always thought I would be completely mute. And so to even be here right now, talking to a camera, telling about my selective mutism, I never thought that would happen. And I still get a lot of help, like obviously, but I'm so glad for some of the people that came in my life and have showed me that there is this other side. I never thought I'd see the other side of selective mutism. And here we are. I don't really know how to end this video because I feel like I still have so much to say, but I do want to say that it's so surreal to even be talking to the camera right now. I never thought I'd be able to form a full sentence, and I know the way I'm talking is not perfect, and maybe I'll never be completely normal, but even being able to talk a little bit is so surreal and so just incredible. And even if there's one girl watching this that's so alone and not sure if she's ever going to make it through, there is light at the end of the tunnel, even when it doesn't feel like it. And I don't know, I feel like selective mutism is just so personal to me, and I feel like I've so much to say about it now that I can talk, and I would love to talk about this every single day till the day I die, because it just means so much to me and was such a prevalent thing in my life. So I don't know if you made it this far, thanks for listening. I know it was a little all over the place, and I feel like it's just hard to talk about, but thanks, and I hope this helps someone. Okay, bye guys.
I was assigned female at birth, and I identified.
Both hands are on the wheel. I just got essayed, and and assaulted at Disney. 2 incidents in less than an hour. Now, so I was standing in line, and this line was a thermal. Some people mingle within the line, and I happened to mingle, and the people that were next to me actually were from the same state as me and the same town. So we got to talking, and it seemed like they were on a reunion, honestly, because they were all wearing the same shirt. You know what they do at Disney, and they're all the same color, like reunion type stuff. But I didn't. There was an older man who had a cane, and he honestly seemed like he just had dementia, just the way he was acting and all this other stuff. And he had a cane, so he was a little off balance. Well, when we got up to the front of the line, and the cast member was just like, "How many are in your party?" I said, "There's one." And the lady said, "Oh, would you mind, you know, my husband, you know, he wants to go on the ride. We weren't going to go on the ride. We just wanted to stand in line with him. But would you mind going with him? You know, you just seem so nice, and he just loves this ride." And I was like, you know what? Sure. Why the hell not? You know, I didn't see any red flags in the 30 minutes that I was talking. They were just super sweet. Happened to know it wasn't a scenario where I felt like I was in danger. So when we got on the ride, I scooted in, and I made sure there was enough space, you know, just personal space. And he had his cane in the middle, and leaning up against the thingy. And it was kind of positioned awkwardly because you had to pull a thing down, and so it was kind of at an angle towards me, and that was okay. I don't mind. But anyways, as the ride went on, I noticed that he started scooting closer, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was just positioning my cane, you know." I'm like, "Okay." Well, as we turned around, the second, I don't know what it's called, where the queen was like that, the queen, on the ride, and next thing you know, I feel a full hand on my chest. Now, if you can see what I'm wearing, I mean, it's, you know, anyways, and I turned to him, I grabbed his 2 fingers, and I twisted, and I just said, "No." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even know what I was doing, like, I touched it, I was just, the ride, it was moving," and I just like, "No," because no way that could have been, it was under, like, anyways, and when it was under, it went like that. So he had a whole field. Anyways, and so the ride ended, and he looked at me, and he's just like, "Again, I'm so sorry, I didn't, you know, the ride was just twisting and turning, and it must have just," and I'm like, "No," again, and the family saw me going, "No," and I was physically distraught, and the older one, she's like, "Is everything okay?" Like, and I don't know why my mind went to just, I'm so used to being essayed. It's become like a normal occurrence in my life, unfortunately. And so when that happens, I just, you know, and I'm sorry, I had to pull over. I'm sorry, I don't want anyone to be upset watching this, and I'm sorry that you saw that. I'm human. After that, I did go and tell a cast member, although the cast member that I told, she didn't do anything, and at least I don't think so. She didn't call anyone on the radio. She didn't ask if I was okay. She was so consumed with trying to figure out face painting and all the, anyways. So I went and I decided I was going to order a Dole Whip, you know, on the mobile app. Just go get one of my favorite things and just kind of chill. So as I went over, I was standing in line, and there was this mother and 2 kids. Now, the 2 kids, they're pretty big kids. They're heavy set, and the mom was sitting there on her phone. The one was older. He looked at least 13, and the younger one looked at least 7. Now again, they're heavier, and the reason why I'm saying that is because I am 116 pounds. This kid, at that age, he was close to like 170. He was big. And they started yapping, and I don't know what happened, but the little kid started, fuck me. They started using strong language and just yapping and being, I don't know, the younger started shoving the bigger one, and the bigger one started doing that, all while the mom was just continuing to look at her phone. The big one got shoved into me, and I fell to the ground. Meanwhile, the mom did not look up from her phone. She did not help me up. While she was on her phone like this, she's like, kids, calm down. Can you stop? And the older one's like, Mom, you know, he hit, I'm not going to say the name because they are minors, you know, he hit me. He shoved me. And she's like, I don't care. Calm down. You're at Disney. Meanwhile, the people in back of me were helping me up, you know, because I was on the ground, and I'm irritated at everything right now. And so anyways, I sat in line again waiting for my mobile order to be done, and it happens again, and where he's starting to get closer, and what he looked like 13, I don't know the exact ages, but he started getting close to me again, and I put my hands out like this because I'm in protective mode, and I just was like this, and he got close to me, he shoved up, and I just kind of pushed him back a little bit, and somehow the mom got triggered at that. Her eyes went, did you just touch my kid? Now, she is Mexican, so she's a very beautiful Latina, and her spice went from 0 to 27 in 2.5 seconds. And I said, he kept shoving into me, and quite frankly, I don't want to be on the ground again, you know. And she's like, oh, so now you're lying on my kid? You touched my kid, you shoved my kid, and now you're lying? You're an adult. And I was sitting there, and the people behind me, thank God for them, beautiful souls, they said, that is not what happened, ma'am. Literally, your kid shoved her on the ground. This mother went apeshit. And I was getting triggered. I was getting oversensitized. I was just like, no, and I was shutting off because it sucks. Like, I just wanted to protect my chest area, you know? Oh, anyway, so after that, I went home. I left. And now I feel like an idiot right now, so. And I just really wanted to talk about it because I feel like an idiot right now. I feel overwhelmed. I feel like one of my happy memories is now capiche? Like, thank you guys for listening to me, and I'm sorry that I got emotional through some of that. I needed to talk. It's a 3-hour ride, and I'm in a car alone, you know, driving in the desert, and my thoughts are very much going rampant right now, and I feel dirty. I feel extra alone right now, as dumb as that sounds, and I just really wanted to get it out. So I appreciate you guys listening to me in this vulnerable moment. I mean, I know it's not as bad as other essays, and I feel like I shouldn't even talk about this right now because I know that it's not as bad, but I still feel gross, and so thank you.
All right, open up for me, please. Perfect.
Bear with me, this one's not easy to talk about. It's like I already feel my voice shutting down because I want to share this story, but like everything in me is like constricting because it's not an easy story to tell, and it's not
a wonderfully positive one. Okay, so I was traveling recently and had to go through the Denver airport. And I have TSA pre-check so that it's super easy and fast and clean when I go through. And so I'm going through and I go through the little metal detector that they have, and immediately the officer tells me to go back out and go around because I've been selected as random. And I was like, what? What's happening? And he was just like, you're random. And I was like, what does that mean? He's like, we select randomly people to go through, our other scanning machine. It's just protocol. And I was like, fuck, okay. Well, I'm going to opt out of that because they were going to send me through the AIT. Like, it's just a more intensive scanner that I always opt out of before I got pre-check. I would just wait and be patient and opt out of that shit because I don't believe in going through it. I think that it's a lot of radiation and not good for my body. So I told him I'm gonna opt out. He's like, okay, well then you have to wait for a female assist. And I was like, okay. I'm waiting for like 5 minutes. Then I asked him, I'm like, if I'm selected as random, like, can you just please choose somebody else to be random because I really don't have time for this. Like, I have TSA pre so that I can breeze through, like I have a flight to catch, blah blah. He's like, no, you're random, just wait there. And I was like, fuck, okay. So another 5 minutes pass, and finally my female assist comes to pat me down. She takes me to the back, and like I said, I've always opted out of that more intensive scanning machine, so I am not new to pat downs, and I always get them publicly because I would rather have eyewitnesses to me being patted down than in a private room where I'm a woman, this is where my brain goes, where if someone tried to pull something sneaky, then it's my word against theirs, like, then I'm super fucked. So she asked me, do you want to do this pat down in private, or are you okay here? And I said, I'm okay here. She's like, okay, I'm going to run you through everything, blah, blah. She tells me, like, she's going to run her hands, the backside and the front side over my limbs, backside around my sensitive areas, like my breast and my groin, and she's searching for objects in my clothing. Note, I have skin tight leggings on and a skin tight long sleeve shirt. You can see like the rolls of my body in the clothing that I'm wearing right now, okay? So I'm clearly not, I don't even have a bra on, okay, because no need. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, she starts the pat down, and I can tell already, like, she's grabbing like my arms more than I have experienced before. Like, she's really making full contact with my body, whereas prior pat downs have been just like brief, like a brush of a hand, like, yeah, they're like lightly, it's been way lighter. This woman is literally grabbing my body and like running her hands across it. And she's like also standing very close to me, like I can feel her breath on me, and I'm uncomfortable. Like, baseline, I'm uncomfortable. And like I said, I've done these many times before. Like, yeah, sure, it's an uncomfortable situation, but I've managed. This one is particularly uncomfortable. Okay, now we get to the good part. She's like now saying that she's like, spread your leg, like step forward so that you can spread your legs. So I do that, and she starts at my like ankles, and she like runs her hands up my legs, and I just remember her like with her inside hand hitting my groin, like hard, like hitting me, like fisting me, legit. And I was like, whoa. And she was like, okay, hold on, I gotta get the back. And then she like she's like one more time, and she like fists me in my groin again, and like grabs my thigh and like just runs her hands down my legs. And I was like, okay, whoa, like that's too much, like that hurt. And she's like, look, ma'am, I'm just doing my job. And I was like, no, like that feels a bit excessive.
Like, I've gotten many pat downs before. Like, this is legit painful. Like, you don't need to fist my vagina to know that I don't have anything up there. Like, you can literally look right now. My clothes are skin tight. Also, while we're on the topic, this was a random pat down. You can do like the most basic level of screening, please. I won't say anything. Nobody else is gonna say anything. I wasn't even pulled aside for anything legit. Like, just go through the motions, lady. And she's like, I can call a super over. And then somebody who's overhearing says like, yeah, call the super. And so a supervisor comes over, literally like most straight-faced lady, like no sympathy, no respect. She's like, what's happening? And I'm like, look, like I got chosen as random, but I don't go through that screening, so I opted out. She cuts me off and she's like, well, because you opted out, like you chose to do the pat down, so this is your choosing, your choice, you're doing. And I was like, yeah, that's not the issue. I'm okay with the pat down. I have an issue with how this officer is performing the pat down. It's excessive and she's hurting me when she's doing the pat down. And the lady had no respect, no sympathy again, and just goes, well, you need to do the pat down to pass the gates or go through that machine. Like, just, and at this point we were already she had literally like my ankle left to do. And I was like, okay, just, the officer's like, yeah, I still have your whole other leg to do. I'm like, you have my ankle, just do that, test the gloves, and I'll leave here like right now. And they just like scoff at me and like just had no fucking respect for the situation, for me literally saying like, I'm feeling violated by this officer right now. Her touch is excessive. This is not a normal pat down. I am uncomfortable. I feel unsafe. There's officers all around. What are officers supposed to do? They're supposed to protect people. They're supposed to make you feel safe. I'm literally telling you, I don't feel fucking comfortable or safe here. And I'm still then, it's gaslit on me and turn around on me that like, I chose this. This is my doing. This is my fault. I have, like, oh, they have no remorse for humiliating me or putting me in that insanely uncomfortable position, let alone the fact that I am like have a history of sexual abuse. So that was extremely triggering for me and in my history. And they're just like, and I just walked away. Like, I held it together. I feel like I spoke my ground, but as soon as I got on that train, I was just like bawling, just like crying. Like, I was just like violated in public by an officer and nobody did fucking jack shit. So fuck the Denver airport security, fuck that place. And yeah, freedom of speech, get this fucking out there.